By the way, this has nothing to do with a well-funded evil money machine that the Republicans were doing. There's something called boys and girls, and
Ruben's
they are
the right
different.
guy to talk about
and
that, isn't he?
Most parents, oh God, you're such a smug prick.
All right, it's time to weave out the lies so we can get to the facts. Is this the worst and least liked political commentator on YouTube? Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special video detailing one of the most insufferable human beings in political commentary who has literally the worst takes in political commentary history, none other than David Pakman. If you want a headache, feel free to tune into any video this guy puts out. He's literally so bad, he had to announce how he and many other liberal/progressives lost thousands of followers after the election. He can't fathom people are upset they were misled. By people like him, who are delusional and are not journalists, just propagandists. Take a look.
We had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that, and subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting, and I texted Brian Tyler Cohen, and I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollemore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers. What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see, subscribers just go up, 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 and they are down. It is not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships. Record cancellations. These are the people that keep the show running. Now, for a moment, I thought, if it's just YouTube, maybe YouTube is purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this, and you see a little decline, and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on. It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out. And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk, it terrifies me because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does, and we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat.
Yeah, that happened. Who's shocked? This is how David deals with losing subscribers. 1. Call buddies to reassure himself it's not just him. 2. Assume it's because people are giving up. 3. Shame people for leaving based on this assumption. Summary: shift blame to viewers, just like the media's establishment does to voters. When you lie to people and gaslight, you lose. You have him with the likes of Brian Tyler Cohen, Kyle Kulinski, the usual always wrong crowd. Pakman might be the worst of them yet. His takes, or opinions, are literally always wrong, so let's touch on those recent disastrous takes. Check this video out, this one was laughable.
Donald Trump didn't say, I want accountability for the January 6th committee. He didn't say, I want fairness for the January 6th committee. Trump said, I believe the members of the January 6th committee should be in prison, not for breaking laws, but for daring to investigate Trump. That is straight out of a dictatorial playbook. If you oppose me, I'm going to put you in prison. Jason Miller, Trump's press flunky, now wants us to believe that jail them is a euphemism of some kind. Trump didn't mean it. It's law and order. So let me remind you, here is what Trump said on NBC News over the weekend.
And Cheney was behind it. Well, and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did, yeah, honestly, they should go to jail.
Now, what Trump said was, for what they did, they should go to jail. And of course, with all the news coming out now about Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchinson, and those of the sort we're finding out they literally fabricated stories they knew weren't true, coached a federal witness without a lawyer present, etc., etc. All to, in Liz Cheney's words, keep Trump from ever taking office again. Not admitting there should be consequences for conspiring against a former president to keep him out of office is giving bias. And we only deal in facts here, David. This is why they should be in jail.
As you remember, Cassidy Hutchinson was the bombshell witness for the Democrats, claimed that Donald Trump tried to commandeer the presidential limousine, take it to the Capitol. We now know that wasn't true. The Secret Service had already told Liz Cheney it wasn't true. She presented the evidence anyways to the American public, tried to give it credence. There's some other testimony where Cassidy Hutchinson talks about a document she claims she wrote it. She didn't. Someone else wrote it. All of that is laid out in this report. But the headline is Liz Cheney could be facing an FBI criminal investigation based on this information that Congress has transmitted this morning.
John, a quick follow-up real quick. I'm looking at witness tampering, obviously a federal crime, up to potentially 20 years in prison if this is witness tampering.
It's a very serious allegation. And as we now know from the reporting we did a few months ago, Liz Cheney was communicating to Cassidy Hutchinson around her lawyer. She was represented by a lawyer. When you go out and reach out to someone around their lawyer, you're violating the D.C. bar ethics, which, by the way, Liz Cheney was a barred lawyer in D.C., so she was obligated to follow those rules. But it goes beyond that. It suggests that she was trying to influence the testimony, get her to say things that would make Donald Trump look worse. This is a very serious allegation from Chairman Barry Loudermilk, the head of this committee, the guy who's run the counter January 6th investigation that has found so many things we were denied and not told about in the earlier probe. But a really significant moment today. And you're right. If the FBI were to pursue charges, this would be a very serious crime and one that could carry some serious prison time.
Yep. A lot of people worried about the consequences of their lies and actions. You worried, David? You seem a little worried. Now here, David wants to talk about what to expect for the next 4 years.
Let's talk a little bit about what to expect over the next 4 years from the standpoint of governance and who's really in charge here. Donald Trump will soon be back in the White House for a second term, but this incoming administration is really shaping up to be less about Trump and more about the people running the show behind the scenes. This is not a deep state conspiracy theory with vague actors. Remember, when I had Vivek Ramaswamy on the show, he started talking about deep state this and deep state that. And I said, Vivek, tell me, who are the people? Give me the names of the people. And twice he refused to name anybody. And eventually he said, people like Susan Rice. This is not a deep state conspiracy. This is about the specific people involved with Trump and who Trump is appointing and nominating. Right now, Trump is essentially a mascot for the far right. And the question is, what will emerge from the last vestiges of Trump's political career, which is the next 4 years? What will emerge to succeed it? Trump's older than ever, as are we all, and more out of touch than ever. And he's clueless about a lot of the mechanisms that are at play, but that doesn't really matter because there's a machinery around Trump ready to take over.
Weasel-faced David Pakman literally had the audacity to say Trump was out of touch. Now, I'm not sure where he was at on November 4th, 2024, but the rest of us understand that man mopped the floor with Kamala Harris and won the popular vote, and every swing state on top of everything else in a full frontal sweep. So, yeah, Trump is so out of touch. That's why the country voted for the guy in record numbers, right? Thank God for checks and balances, right? Just stop the alarmist rhetoric. This is why you lose. Now, speaking of the popular vote, David Pakman says Donald Trump winning the popular vote is a failure and embarrassment because he didn't beat Hillary Clinton's popular vote total. Get ready for mental gymnastics. Watch this.
Trump's so-called landslide victory, which gives him a supposed mandate, is being used to defend so many of the choices that Donald Trump is now making with regard to cabinet and nominations and policy promises. But that victory has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. In fact, it's experienced so much shrinkage that it is really now just a tiny little embarrassment. With every passing day, the margin has declined. It is now 1.6 percentage points and just roughly 2.5 million votes. Now, for context, Hillary Clinton in 2016 won the popular vote by 2.1%. That's more than 25% more than Trump's popular vote victory. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 2.8 million votes, hundreds of thousands of votes more than Donald Trump's victory. And Trump, as of now, is underperforming Hillary Clinton in 2016.
You can't fix or have peace with people who deny abject reality. Somehow Trump failed but beat both of them? Amazing stuff, David. Absolutely amazing. There's a reason this guy lost thousands of followers, if not millions by now. But hey, David, if you say something good about Trump, you might get somewhat of a following back. Last but not least, I can't forget when Pakman tried to defend having kids at drag shows, claiming there was no sexualization. Royce White, and in case you don't know who Royce White is, he is a former NBA player turned based political figure. In this clip, I couldn't help but feel like Pakman was in the presence of a real man with testosterone, something David Pakman never seems to have high levels of. He just got punked here, plain and simple.
Women are getting out of control, and I do think radical feminists are getting out of control. I should have been more specific, but
I get the
I thought I was
point
being
that
humorous.
you think women are out of control. I got it.
No. I said radical feminists are out of control. Be clear. And they are. That's why they're bringing their children to drag stripper shows.
Let me ask about a couple of things.
Do you think that's okay? Do you think it's okay to sexualize children at drag stripper shows?
I don't think the children are being sexualized if they go to a drag show. No, I just don't think that that's the sexualization
You don't
of
think
children.
that you don't think children are being? Would it be okay for me as a grown adult male to take underage kids to a regular strip club?
I don't think they're allowed. No.
So why are they allowed to do it in
Royce,
but why aren't they allowed?
Royce.
Why aren't they allowed? Is it because of the alcohol or because of the sexualization?
I don't know the laws around strip clubs. I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
but Royce,
okay.
if
maybe you should learn them though, because you're
here,
talking about drag shows. You have an opinion about the drag shows, and you say that's completely fine.
Royce, you brought
right, but
them
you
up.
have an opinion about.
I'm gonna have to mute you, Royce. I'm gonna have to mute you.
One thing I noticed, Pakman always says, "I don't know," and doesn't like definitions. I guess because if it already has a meaning, he'd have a tough time spinning it. I mean, we get it. Pakman obviously supports these obscene acts of child grooming. Why am I not surprised? Anyways, make sure you guys are subscribed so you can get those notifications when we have to dump on some crazy progressives again and you won't miss a video. Let us know what you think in the comments and stay up to date here on Facts Only.